Hello everyone. We at Khan Global Studies have started a new initiative. This new initiative is about the monthly magazine. Students generally ask, Sir, how important is current affairs and from where we can cover current affairs? So I personally recommend two sources of covering current affairs. One is reading the newspapers. There is no alternate to that. And second is referring to a monthly magazine after reading the newspaper. Now, we at Khan Global Studies issue this magazine every month, and we have issued it for the month of July, but this is named as August because this is being released in August. But the content or the news pieces which will be covered in this magazine will be from July 2025. And I deal with international relations in Khan Global Studies, so I will be dealing with these topics, or I would say one topic from international relations which is very important. The topic is the 17th BRICS Summit, which was hosted by Brazil. So as you can see, in this magazine, there are multiple subjects covered: polity, governance, IR, environment and all. So teacher specific subjects will be dealt by the teachers, and I will be dealing my subject, that is this international relations, and the first topic which you are seeing over here, that is the 17th BRICS Summit. This summit was hosted in Brazil. So let's get started with this particular topic and we'll cover that. Yes, here we have, this is the first topic of international relations, the 17th BRICS Summit. Now this was, a very remarkable event. Every year there is this summit. Last year, the 16th BRICS Summit was in Russia, Kazan. There was a question also this year in UPSC prelims on that particular summit, the theme of that summit and all. This year it was in Brazil, and next year it is going to be hosted by India, because India will be assuming the presidency of BRICS since 1st of January 2026. But let's see what happened over here in this BRICS Summit. So if I talk about the theme of this summit, it was strengthening global South cooperation for a more inclusive and sustainable governance. Question on theme was asked this year in prelims by UPSC. One of the statements was related to the themes, and that one was a wrong statement. But anyways, coming to this, strengthening global South cooperation, you need to understand what global South means. Global South is not a geographical term, it is a socio-economic term. Global South means the developing and underdeveloped countries of Asia, Africa and South America. And coincidentally, if you see all the members of BRICS, they are all developing countries belonging to these three continents only: Asia, Africa and South America. Whether you take Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, or you take the added members in the form of UAE, Iran, all developing, these two from Asia. Then Indonesia from Asia, the newest member. Then Ethiopia, Egypt from Africa, developing countries. So this is a grouping of global South, we can also say that. And the theme was also reflecting the same, that strengthening global South cooperation for a more inclusive and sustainable governance. More inclusive and sustainable governance means we need to include the poorest of the poor countries. We need to impact them positively. Our Prime Minister also, addressed the gathering, and he was talking about reforms in the existing global organizations which are discriminatory in nature against the global South. So he talked about reform of global governance and peace and security. Global governance reforms means reforms in organizations like WTO, World Bank, IMF and such like. These organizations are said to be dominated by the West and they discriminate against the global South. So this was there. So when Brazil assumed its presidency on 1st of January 2025, it had set two priorities for itself. First was Global South cooperation. You know what Global South means. Second is BRICS partnership for social, economic and environmental development. So that was also a theme. But what were the key outcomes of this summit? First of all, expanded membership. Indonesia attended its first summit. Last year, the 16th BRICS Summit, which was hosted by Russia, at that time, UAE, Iran, Ethiopia and Egypt attended their first summit. Before that year, 2023, it was decided, at that summit was in South Africa, it was decided in that summit that 6 countries will be new members of BRICS. These 6 countries, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iran, these 3 countries from Asia, Ethiopia, Egypt from Africa and Argentina from South America. But in 2023, there were elections in Argentina and the newly elected president opted out of the BRICS membership. They exclusively said, or they explicitly said, that we are not going to be a member of BRICS, though Argentina came out. Saudi Arabia has not ratified its membership to BRICS. Hence, Saudi Arabia's, calling itself as a member of BRICS or calling Saudi Arabia as a member of BRICS is not, feasible as of now, because let Saudi Arabia ratify, then only it will be considered as a member of BRICS. But it has neither denied nor ratified. This is the situation of Saudi Arabia. But apart from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, these 4 out of 6 countries attended the BRICS Summit, the 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan last year. Indonesia was added as a member this year, 2025. Indonesia ratified it also, and Indonesia attended the BRICS Summit, and that is why the 5th and the newest entrant this year in BRICS Summit was Indonesia. So now BRICS is having 10 full-time members. Saudi Arabia's inclusion depends on the ratification of this provision by Saudi Arabia in its country. Then there were countries like Belarus, Bolivia, Kazakhstan, Cuba, Nigeria, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Uganda and Uzbekistan. These are called as BRICS partner countries. They were also welcomed. They were also attended this. They are not full-time members. They are partner countries. Then we talked about global governance reforms. Global governance reforms in United Nations Security Council, IMF, WTO and such like. These organizations are said to be dominated by the developed countries of the world, the West. Then BRICS Leaders Framework Declaration on Climate Finance. The climate finance is obviously related to tackling climate change. And this climate finance has to flow from the developed world to the developing and underdeveloped world, which obviously there are, multiple hurdles, multiple roadblocks in this. So we talked about the seamless flow of climate finance from the developed world to the developing world. Then BRICS leaders statement on the global governance of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is, I would say, the newest technology, which is very transformative in nature. But the developed countries want to keep this technology exclusive. We want to make it inclusive. We want to make it affordable. And that is what, our Prime Minister, when he visited the AI Action Summit in Paris early this year, highlighted over there. Paris is an exception in the developed world. Paris also wants this technology to be inclusive and affordable. But countries like USA, UK, they are not of this viewpoint. Then BRICS partnership for elimination of socially determined diseases. So healthcare is another domain where BRICS partnership is there, and India is a, I would say, champion over here. Then terrorism declaration. There was a declaration on terrorism. Pahalgam attacks were highlighted, and yes, obviously attacks by these terrorist organizations which are based out of Pakistan were condemned. So these things were discussed. Apart from it, financial cooperation in BRICS. Now, BRICS has also established financial institutions under itself, just like the United Nations. United Nations has World Bank and IMF. We have here in BRICS new development bank and contingency reserve arrangement. So this is what the BRICS financial framework is. No doubt about the fact that the pockets of World Bank and IMF are much deeper as compared to the pockets of CRA and NDB. Much deeper pockets means they have much corpus with them as compared to NDB and CRA. So these were the things which were discussed. Around 126 declarations were adopted, small, big, everything included. But yes, now about this particular organization BRICS, the history of it very briefly. BRIC basically was a term coined by Jim O'Neill. He was an economist in this consultancy firm Goldman Sachs, and in 2001 he issued a research paper. In that research paper, it was highlighted that the 21st century belongs to the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, because the major economic expansion which has to happen in these 4 developing countries of the world. And these developing countries can pose challenges to the developed countries, that is the G7. Now that research paper was an eye-opener for these 4 countries. And in 2006, on the sidelines of United Nations General Assembly, the leaders of these 4 countries met. And when they met, they decided to form BRIC. In 2009, there was the first BRIC Summit, which was hosted by Russia in Yekaterinburg. In 2010, BRIC became BRICS because South Africa was added, and in 2011, for the first time, South Africa attended the BRIC Summit in Sanya, China. In 2014, those financial institutions were inaugurated, NDB and CRA, under BRICS. Slowly and gradually, the popularity of this organization started to rise. Many countries expressed their interest in becoming a full-time member of the BRICS, especially from the global south, because they were fed up of the discrimination they were facing from the developed west. In 2023, there was this Friends of the BRICS Summit hosted by South Africa, and in that Friends of the BRICS Summit, more than 40 countries expressed their interest in becoming a full-time member of BRICS. But we were not so open. In 2023, we decided that we will offer membership to 6 countries. Those 6 countries I mentioned earlier, I'll just repeat them in brief. That is Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran from Asia, Ethiopia, Egypt from Africa, and Argentina from South America. Argentina backed out. Saudi Arabia has not ratified this proposal. In 2025, Indonesia joined. This has been a brief story of BRICS, but why is BRICS important? Some statistics we should know. %50 of world economic growth happening in these countries. 42.58% of the world's population lives in these countries, the BRICS countries. That is almost nearing half. Then 26.6% of the world land area is under these BRICS countries. 37% of global GDP is here in these countries. 14.91% of IMF quota shares, means these countries collectively have this much voting share in IMF. 13.24% in World Bank. The voting power is this much. And the majority of the share and voting power is with the developed West in these financial institutions, that is IMF and World Bank. That is basically the importance of this organization, and this importance is rising because the GDP of these countries is expanding, the population of these countries is expanding. I cannot mention about the area expanding because that is subject to territorial conflicts and the victories in that, which neither of us we do not promote this. But what is the significance of BRICS for India? BRICS allows India to pursue its foreign policy of strategic autonomy. Strategic autonomy simply means that we are autonomous. We can engage with the West because our engagements with the West have increased in the past. We can engage with the developing world where we have China, Russia, which are competitors to the West, or the West views them as a threat, a potential threat to them. But we are with them also, and we are with the West also. This is what strategic autonomy looks like, and BRICS is a platform where India pursues this strategic autonomy and sends a message to the West that we are here also, we are with you also. Then multipolar world advocacy. We advocate a multipolar world, and there is no unipole like USA or only the West is there dominant in everything. We are also here. We have announced this by BRICS. Global South interest, because this is an organization of the Global South and the interests of the Global South are pursued very well through these organizations. We can put considerable amount of pressure on organizations like UN through this. Economic opportunities are ample in these countries, because see, the world population, 42.58% of the world's population is living in these countries. 50% of the global economic growth happens in these countries, and around 37% of the world's GDP is over here. Then multilateral reforms. We advocate for multilateral reforms. We do not say that BRICS is an alternate to United Nations. United Nations is a global organization, BRICS is not. But through this platform, we strongly advocate for reforms in the existing global institutions. If they want to remain relevant, then reforms are needed in those organizations, and this is a clear message, and this has been a clear message since the past few years from BRICS and from many other platforms as well. Okay. But no organization, how much cohesive it is, how much homogeneous it is, there are challenges in them, and there are challenges in BRICS also. First challenge is China's dominance. China is economically the biggest player in BRICS, so China tries to dominate in BRICS, but yes, that dominance is nullified by countries like Russia and India. Then internal tensions and rivalries. We are having border tensions with China since long. That creates some roadblocks in the proceedings of this particular organization. Then decision making difficulties are there, because we have different viewpoints, we have different ideologies, we have different situations, so these things happen. Limited institutional framework is there. We do not have a strong institutional framework under BRICS, which obviously is the need of the hour, so that should be there. Then ideological divides are there. We are a liberal democracy, whereas China and Russia are not. Many countries, the new entrants like UAE and all, Iran, they are kind of, UAE is a monarchy, Iran, there is limited amount of democracy again. So all these things are there, but yes, we have to move forward amidst these challenges. We have to develop a shared vision. We have to make this world a better place to live in. We have to collaborate on strategic sectors, including emerging technologies and critical technologies. Focus on mediation, focus on reducing the geopolitical conflicts, because the parties which are involved in geopolitical conflicts like Russia, they are part of this organization. Iran, they are now part of this organization. So we could use these, the platform for these purposes. And BRICS can further improve its relevance, its popularity. BRICS is not here to challenge the United Nations. This has been clearly testified by BRICS. Last year's summit, the 16th summit's opening remarks were these. But BRICS has also made it very clear that you need to do reforms in global institutions, otherwise they will not be relevant. They will lose their relevance. And the relevance of BRICS on the other side is increasing. So this is it from this particular topic, that is 17th BRICS Summit. And I'll be ending over here. This is the most important topic in this month's magazine from International Relations. This does not mean that you ignore other topics. It is highly recommendable and advisable for you to read other topics as well. You can start a discussion in the comment section if you have doubts related to any topic. Our team will try to respond to those. Thank you. Take care. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste. Jai Hind.